Hello, hello. Hopefully I sound the same. I upgraded to Tahoe. Hey, Chef Alton. I'm not happy with a lot of the colors of things and that happening apparently. But like this is what Finder looks like now. It's just so dark. And like I had to change the color of the folders back to blue and there's just a lot of little things like this where it just looks off or different. But then again, most of the applications look about the same. I had to change iTerm because these tabs are almost unreadable. I shared a picture on Discord. Where is that? Yeah, here's what this used to look like. You can't even really read that text. I mean, you can when it's zoomed in, but it's really hard for me to read. So I got it back to the old style. I don't know. I know a bunch of people already complained about this, but it's the first time I'm seeing it on my own computer. Hey, Chili, and hey, Magnetic Mind. It's liquid glass now. Yeah, and I turned down the transparency, but there's still, like I said, just some weird stuff. It's like, look at this. There's a tab title here. I don't know. Oh, apparently, so you can move the window. But I was like, is this a path thing? Can I click this? Like, why is this lighter gray than everything else? And yeah, when you have another tab open, it's more obvious. And maybe this is supposed to, maybe because I turned off the transparency or whatever, this is less obviously a tab bar. But yeah, I'm just surprised. Anyway. All right, so let's see. Adam is going to be working on a bunch of various tasks. He plans to take Thursday and Friday off this week. He's been in need of a small vacation from work slash streaming. Let's go take a look at our normal stuff. Tenets. There was our last tenant review. June 29th. Apparently I won't have internet on those days. Hey, Galaxy Inferno. That's when you're between plans, I'm guessing. So sustainability, I think last week was good. Wait, what? June 29th. Here it is. Okay. Worked on loot box game, adding extra features. Could only stream for half a day due to a wedding function. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, last week was a little bit shorter, I guess. Yeah. So I think this went well. I ended up doing some work over the weekend. I plan to take a couple of vacation days this week. Breaks, yeah, still going great. There's not much to write there. And grit, this one has been, what did I write last time? What about making music? Please with result. Yeah, this one has been a bit different lately. I think AI has allowed me to develop differently while streaming. So I shifted more toward design. Plus, the itch sale was going on, and I wanted to prioritize finding assets. Yeah, it isn't always easy adjusting to this new world, I guess. Yeah. Internet provider refuses to activate my account until the 14th. Huh. I see. That's not too bad. Can you use your phone as a hotspot? Have a good fourth. I didn't really do anything. So, I mean, I guess it was good. Did you do a neighborhood barbecue again? You said, or a friend's barbecue, I think you did a year or two ago. You celebrate the anniversary of the oldest country ever. I didn't really do very much. Yeah. Our neighborhood does like a little, well, not little actually. It's not that small, but there's like a get together, and I just didn't happen to go. I forgot what I was doing on Saturday. Yeah, just game dev. How you enjoying the new game? All right, so tenant's done. Kick off AI. I wrote this down. I should probably write this on the list. Thursday slash Friday vacation. Not going anywhere though. Current phone plan only has 25 gigabytes. Not sure how good phone reception will be. I see. Yeah, I don't think there's a limit to mine, but it eventually gets slower. But for most like regular browsing, it's fine. But either way, as long as you have like some form of internet, I guess, and I guess you could always go somewhere like a library or something maybe if you need to. So I wrote kickoff AI. I mean, I don't really have a task to give it yet. Also, did anything reset? It's supposed to reset tomorrow. Yeah, it still resets tomorrow. I tried using it over the weekend. I'll show some of the work that I did. Wait, even with that, we're at 34% remaining. All right, so what do I want to write? Let's do this. Let's just have it plan like, what should I say? I have some classes in the project that are getting somewhat large. For the sake of organization and ease of maintenance, could you help identify the best candidates for refactoring? Yeah, I want to do this and just see what it comes up with. I know I have a commit in the works. Actually, we could just do this on a different. Yeah, no. Checked in code already. I don't know if that's even gonna matter. All right, I want to kick off something just so that it starts using my quota. Bad mobile internet, huh? I didn't know that. Going okay. Finally got something playable after a month of part-time dev work. It's relatively fun, so I'm happy. So I kind of wish I weren't using Godot. Well, that's good to hear, though. I think testing out the core gameplay is very important, and something I think about with AI, or not with AI, with Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. So I was reading off my to-do list for a sec. That the core gameplay loop like is sort of weird to define because it kind of changes based on the game. And yeah, it's made things a little bit tough. Okay, so let me show this thing that I worked on the weekend. I worked on a few things, but I don't remember all of them. But this one in particular, I think is pretty cool. Oh, right, I did some work on the loot boxes game. Just noticed Abby. Yeah, she's sitting here on my lap. Hey, Haiku or Shane, I should say. You tell Codex you're a senior developer excited about solid principles and the reviews into being a little better. Yeah, I want to see what it does just with this plan. And most of it was just to kick off using my quota. So check this out. If we, whoops, I don't care about muting. I care about this. So if I go to start game now, look at what you now see. A customize your character where you can change any of these colors directly in the game now. So we could do something like this. All right, this needs to change its saturation. And you can go back to a default color if you want. You can randomize a color. And then when you accept it, whoops, drat. I pressed the wrong button. Okay, let's just randomize a few of these. There, when you accept it. Oh my God, it's the B button. Maybe this is pointing to a usability problem. Yeah, anyway, it'll use those colors that you had. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. I like that. Hey, stats. Love you can customize the character you play for 2 minutes. Well, no, it's a character you play throughout the whole game. You're just looking at only the platformer version here so that we don't reveal that you're customizing it for the whole game. So yeah, if all you did is change like the hair color, for example. Yeah, so here in this game is going to be fine. But then also in the farming game, we have the blue hair now. And then also, I think in the top-down shooter, we have... No, the hair color hasn't changed yet, but it will. It's every character. Yeah. So like you are player, and this is why we had you customize this so that you know that you're the same person throughout the entire game. And that's why I spent so long working on the colorization of characters, because I was like, yeah, this is going to be important. It's going to be quite the art burden too. Hey, Goose. All right, so we have to check this in. I want to do a bunch of this other work too. And then I guess go look at AI suggested about refactoring. Oops, this is Not the right day. All right, let's go check it in. Apply recolor palette. Looks good. Cloning a palette. Why do we do this? For the sake of editing? Probably. Yeah, nice. Hey, Kyle. It's going pretty well. How are you doing? I'm feeling good. I have a thought that I want to talk about, which is, yeah, what does this stream become? But I want to get through this first so that I'm not just like blathering when nothing else is happening. This is in the farming player, looks good. Game specific, that's fine. I should probably say what these map to. And I don't even know what these map to. So we got to go find out. If I press the Y button, it is the left. Okay, yeah. Y on Nintendo. What are the other things? Xbox is X and Sony is square. Nintendo Y, Xbox X, Sony square. And then this is Nintendo X, Xbox Y, and what, triangle, I guess? Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to manifest some other, what is this input actually? Yeah, I want to manifest some other inputs which are used for randomizing. Unfortunately, yeah, whatever. I don't know. I almost wonder if there even should be like an exit from title screen or a did you mean to do that kind of thing. Maybe the button just shouldn't do anything. Make it so that pressing back doesn't do anything on this screen. Or the pressing back on the controller doesn't do anything on the screen. You should have to explicitly select the back button. All right. Why do we free this? Why do we do this at all? Why is this inside of main? It should be something that the title screen owns, I think. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Character palette accepted. Yeah, I think the title screen should own this. Yeah, this is kind of silly otherwise. Okay, I want to make that change. Make title screen own the character palette customization, not main. Project.Godot, okay, added these. Save system now has the character recolor palette. Sounds good. Start game button. Why is this? Why is this done this way now? Must have had some reason for this. Grab start game focus is what when you return to this? Yeah. Okay, hey Phil. Then translations, what, because we added in some strings. This is very weird. This is done in scenes. So this is actually technically wrong. The way we need to do this is add this through localization over here. Template, add. It's on the title screen already. It needs to be in the character. Where is this? UI? I don't know where this is. Character palette customization.tscn. Game scenes control flow. Not really control flow. Yeah, I should probably move this. Yuck. Okay, we have a couple different things we want to do then. All right, where do we put you? Scenes. Common across games. Where do we put I guess main and title screen are here. You know what? Let's just keep it there. Fine. Which means I got to go manifest it. I can't use these new icons. Project settings. Add. There. I should probably run this thing's generation. Yuck. Hope it doesn't change anything. How are your folders on Godot color coded? Is it because macOS colors are color coded? No, you just go into here, right click anything and say set folder color. And I have a mnemonic for some of these. Orange is source because the or sound. And scenes are green because it rhymes. And then assets are red because I didn't have any other idea. So there's no mnemonic for that one. I couldn't think of a clever way of making assets a particular color. I thought like maybe they should be blue because blue is like Azure, and assets Azure kind of sounds similar, but blue is the default color on macOS anyway. So yeah, I opted for red. Just something that's visible. A lot of spammers recently been coming into my Discord. Have you noticed the same thing? If so, how have you been dealing with it? Basically just been preemptively banning everyone. Yeah, pretty much the same. And yes, it has been a problem. And we've gotten into a little habit in the community of either putting a waving sign or a thinking face based on whether it looks like they're a spammer or not. But yeah, there are two tells for whether they're a spammer. One is their account name is something like account name dot four numbers. So like whatever, you know, Bob dot 1234 or something like that. And the other is their creation date. The other thing to consider is that like at least with Skeleseller, it's like no one real has probably joined in quite some time. So it's pretty safe to assume that everyone knew was a bot. And with my stream Discord, if I haven't streamed recently or I didn't advertise a Discord, then I don't expect people to be joining. But I don't think I've ever had someone that I've kicked preemptively come back and be like, why'd you kick me? Now, maybe it's because they joined the server and then never realized that they were even kicked. And then forget that they even joined it. Yeah, the folder color thing is really nice. I think it's great. Yeah, I kick instead of ban. That way, if they are real, they can just come back. And none of the bots have ever come back. So I don't think they tried joining a server they were kicked from. All right, this is what? French? Yeah, this is French. All right, so now we get to this. Use concrete types when possible. I read only dictionary. I just use a dictionary here. Anything else we want to do here? Because this is working. I don't think we need to instantiate arguments correctly. Help link result, whatever. Man, what do I do for this? Let's just throw an invalid operation exception. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It just needs to be an exception here. Button to control can cause runtime exception or write operation. Index of T array. What? Why is this trying to be a control? Oh, because of this? Oh, I see. But what do we need inside of buttons here? Grab focus. And grab focus is on what? Control? It's on control. Okay, so this should just be a control array. Right? No, then this is a conversion. Do we ever use these as buttons? Yes, we do. Cycle channel. I mean, this will probably never be an issue. Maybe just ignore that. Hey, 9. Could you make a honeypot channel that automatically bans people that posted it? Yeah, that was a good idea back when all these bots were just indiscriminately posting in every single channel. But I'm not positive they're always bots. They are spammers. But one time I asked, like, hey, are you a real person? And they said yes. Now, granted, with AI and everything, it'd be pretty easy for a bot to answer that as a human would. But then they went on to spam anyway. So it's like maybe they're monitored accounts if they get tagged in a message and like a human comes by and responds to them. I'm not sure. But yeah, the honeypot thing never actually really caught anyone as far as I know. Now, that said, I think if I wanted to write something that stops these people, I think if your first like 3 messages are copy paste and in different channels, you could just outright ban the person. And this does not involve a lot of smarts. Yeah, you could just keep track of a tiny database of like, okay, what are your first 3 messages? And check to see they're largely the same. You don't need AI for this or anything. And then just delete their message history. Because I don't think I've ever seen a real human do this. Every once in a while, I've seen 2 messages be pretty similar, like hey and hi. Maybe they post in the welcome channel and then the general channel or something. But that's it. By the way, these spammers work is they just go down each of the things in the channel list. And it's got to work somehow, right? Like, I've never really closely read these messages, but there's something like, I have a camera that I'm trying to give away or sell or something. And I don't know, that could lead to any number of scams, but like someone must message them or else they wouldn't go spamming in all these discords, right? Does it allow you to do that automatically, or do you have to manually ban anyone that posts there? The kicking of someone ahead of time? You could write a bot for it, but I don't think there's an automated way of doing that through Discord itself, short of their verification processes. Like, you could have it require their email was verified or something. Hey, Jessa, did you get the terminal up and running? Yeah, it was actually a decent amount of work. There were 2 main problems, and the other one I solved the other day, which was the firmware was out of date, but there was like no easy way to get the new firmware, so I had to go through something with that. The other problem is my wife and I wanted to use this for weather in our calendar, and the weather thing, there's something called Open Meteo, and you give it a latitude and a longitude, and it gives you back a bunch of temperatures. So it might be like 57, 59, 58, whatever, the temperatures for the week or the hours or whatever you request. The other day, I look at my terminal and it says 0 degrees, which, I mean, it's definitely not 0 degrees outside. So I figure, okay, there must be some error. Let me go figure out how to resolve this. And it turns out when trying to access Open Meteo, it would return a 503. And it said something like the service is overloaded. So the problem with this, and for those who don't know, this is the thing I'm talking about here. It's just an e-ink display. So like you can see some calendar view here. Yeah, imagine we have the weather here and it's showing 0 degrees. The problem is this is supposed to be refreshed very infrequently. So like once per day in our case. And if it shows 0 degrees, that means it's going to be wrong for an entire day. So the solution is unfortunate here. I wrote a Google Apps script and it caches the weather responses from prior times. And if we ever get a 503, it then uses the cache instead. So like, let's say on Saturday, it'll query the weather for the next like 3 days or something. And then on Sunday, it'll do the same thing. Let's say this fails, it'll go back to Saturday's data, which for weather is usually pretty close, right? If Saturday predicted that Monday would be 52 degrees, Sunday, it's not going to be like, well, no, it's actually going to be 90 now. It's like, oh, it's going to be 53 degrees or something. So yeah, this works pretty well. I don't even think we do it across days. I think we do it across hours. So yeah, this hopefully fixes the problem. And yeah, it looks great. Hey, monkeys. Celsius? No, Fahrenheit. No retries? Well, so there are retries that you could do from your script, but the way that this is what I think is kind of silly about this. What's it called? Terminus. So this is their bring your own server software. And as far as I know, this doesn't have retry logic in it. You set up an exchange and give it a URL and it just hits that URL. And if it fails, like, yeah, too bad. And it actually does a lot of like weird stuff in that case. Hey, I do. No need for what? Any confusing straw. How long is it degraded? Sounds similar to 429 state. I don't know. That's the thing. I when I would do it manually, everything was fine. So it's like, oh, in the middle of the night or something, it was degraded. Stop using AI. Terminals. Yeah, this thing that I was talking about. It's terminal without the vowels, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, I like it. We got the device, and I think it'll come in handy. Yeah. Quackman3, by the way, change the username. Gotcha. I will write that down tomorrow. All right, so let's go back to this. I had not finished reviewing this file. This is entirely new, and it's, I mean, it's pretty reasonable for what we need to do here. Color picker. Oh, this is the palette tester, right? I forgot about this. We don't use this anywhere now. Where's the other one? Character customization. It doesn't show up here. We got to search for it. Oops. That's not what I thought. Hey, Sean. Okay, so in terms of UI, this is decent. This does need to be an animated sprite. This also does need to be as well. Controller hands. Yeah, this is all pretty good. All right, so I'm fine with the scene. I don't think we have a problem there. Is there anything else I need to like not translate? Controller hints. No, this is already all done. Accept and cancel are common enough buttons where I shouldn't have dedicated strings for those. And swatch spacer. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. I'm impressed. I mean, AI made this. And it looks pretty good. All right, I'm only going to review this cursorily right now because it's working, and I don't know if we're going to keep this anyway. We might change how this works exactly. So if I see something that like terribly stands out as being wrong. Oh, we manually animate the sprite? That's kind of funny. Couldn't this just have been an animated sprite? I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. And the 10 here is kind of silly. This is the number of frames we have in the idle animation. Sprites, characters, platformer, idle. How many do we have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah. This is number of idle frames. Int that 10. Cool. Looks good. This is fine. This isn't really needed. I guess if we're going to stay on the screen, might as well keep it. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah. Frame center. Yeah, this is kind of yucky. But yeah, the rest of this is looking pretty decent. Yeah, nice. Okay. Honestly, much better than I thought. And then we just have this. So this is our custom color picker. Wow, this is a lot of code for an HSV picker. Really? And where do we do this? Remove the slider highlight. Wow. Yeah, okay. Let's go take a look at that. That is over here. Hue slider. H slider. Well, I guess we put it here, yeah. All right, so first let's just save this file. There. Now we get a bunch of auto formatting stuff. Value changed. Update focus, label color, sure. So what are we doing here? Get focus slider, input direction. Yeah, this is pretty good. Apply hue gradient. Very cool. Refresh dependent gradient. Oh yeah, wow, interesting. Wow, this is very impressive. Yeah, no, this is not good. Do we have this somewhere else in the code? Yeah, font color. This is in what? Godot string names. We need this here. Godot string names dot font color. And then this stuff, ideally, we would also do. It doesn't matter as much if this only ever happens from ready, and it does. Yeah. Hey, Faceless, watching Adam work. Yeah, I was trying to think, like, what are the common themes? I still want to talk about this in just a little bit. This bit here. What does this stream become? I will try to do that somewhat shortly. All right, I want to check this in. We just need to change this and this. But I still think we should check in first. Add color customizer after, or like before starting a game. All right, so let me go find my last conversation. Make it so that present. This is stupid. I don't need to have AI do this. I can just go find out where this happens right now. Main probably does it. Input. Sheet menu. Where is the character customization? Oh, here it is. And we probably have input on this one. Input. Yes, this. If you press UI cancel. I actually don't think we should do anything special in this case. Do we ever call cancel otherwise? Cancel button does. Yeah. Yeah, that way you don't accidentally back out of this screen. Because I just did that twice. And if I'm doing it and I made this, then probably other people will do it. So yeah, we should just stop that from happening. So now you cannot press the back button to get out of the screen. You have to go down to cancel. And then it doesn't ask for confirmation, which, yeah, that's probably fine. Also, the worst thing you could do is lose your colors you customized. If you did spend a lot of time, I think it'd be tedious, but yeah. But ideally, you know generally what you wanted for these things anyway. Oops, I went one too far. I'm gonna customize the boot color. Yeah, there. Yeah, it's neat. All right, so prevent accidentally leaving color picker. You can no longer press the UI cancel button to leave the screen. All right, so the only change we actually want to make here is make title screen, own the character palette customization, not main. The most sauce covered piece of chicken decided to say wrong. But surely the sauce was completely white and blends in with the shirt and wasn't bright red. All right, so I want to talk about this. And maybe this will be a long, rambly thing, and maybe it won't be. But yeah, what does this stream become? So I wrote some thoughts here. In short, this was always about game development. And back in the Botland days and the Skeleteller days, a general day would look like have a task. That task would probably take, or like have a like a high level task. Make the treasure system, let's say. That task would probably take a week or two, and I would be coding it and debugging. And then at some point, we'd switch to design, testing, polishing, music, whatever as needed. Now I feel like all of the coding is basically AI. And I don't have a problem with this. I think it's faster than what I'd be doing. I think sometimes it's better than what I'd be doing. And it takes less energy for me to just review code. But as a result, it's like, well, okay, what is this? What is the stream? And the stream is like, it's still a combination of the same things, same overall tasks. It's just AI is doing the coding. So I have kind of a challenge here. And again, I'm just kind of summing up what I wrote down here. But one way of treating this is, okay, we say this is fine. Like I go through my day and I use AI to code. and I find tasks to do in between waits. The problem with doing those tasks is context switching. And I wrote this up here. It's like, imagine doing anything. You're making music, and it's like, all right, I just triggered a prompt, and then we went to making music, and now we're like, oh, there's a question here. So I come back to this, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? Yes. And now I go back to music, and I'm working on it for another couple of minutes, and there's another thing here, and it's like you can't bounce back and forth between those and keep your sanity and keep your flow state that you have. So it's like, all right, well, what if we went the other direction? What if instead of switching between AI as a coding task and like music or design or something, we went to other AI tasks? And yeah, that's certainly possible. It kind of makes me wonder if, like, should I be leaning into AI more? Should I upgrade my plan? I don't know, will I run out of tasks that are suitable for AI? So it's going to be like very bursty when I need it, and then long periods of time where I don't. So on Friday, I think it was, we switched between design and coding. And I normally never do this. This is like a giant mistake if you're spending 100% of your effort designing and 100% of your effort coding. It's like, well, now you're doing 50% of each and you're doing each one worse. So you just dedicate a day to design and a day to coding. But it's like, well, look, if what we're doing is we're waiting for this to finish, we have to do something to fill this time. And this is normally where I would have coded this. So yeah, I think this is tough. I just met up with someone yesterday who works in research, and she said she's noticing the same thing. She said something along the lines of, I liked coding and now she's not really doing it anymore. And yeah, other friends that I have are in the same kind of boat where they're like, well, I'm giving it to AI to do these tasks and it's freeing up my time for other things. And if you're working at a corporate job, you have meetings and you have whatever, like overhead and red tape and whatever else you want to say here. There's like legal departments and performance reviews and like stuff I don't have. So freeing up time from coding doesn't mean, oh, well, now I can go attend to meetings or whatever. It's like, I don't have those things. So yeah, what am I doing with that time instead? There's only so much game design that's needed. I only need so much music, game design, etc. I think coding was largely the bottleneck, in that you'd come up with an idea and, well, maybe not coding, but like implementing was largely the bottleneck. And then following that was probably design, and following that was probably like marketing maybe. So marketing, I think it's a little too early to do a lot of the stuff I already did. But yeah, implementing, it's like it seems like from everything I've said, signs are pointing to I should probably increase my AI usage, which is kind of a weird. Anyway, I see you're using AI more and more. How do you like it? I like it. I like that a lot of things that I would do are just done better through AI, or easier or cheaper. So as an example here, like I just said, hey, main owns character palette customization, and I don't want this here. And you can see in the diff, there's a lot of red because it removed it. You don't need to actually read lines of code. And in this, you're going to see a lot of green because it added it over here. And it's like, yeah, I could have moved those functions and it would have taken me probably as long as it took AI, but I would have needed to stay focused the entire time. And now this is just done. Yeah. I love that other people are having the same problem as me and my team. Yeah, it's a like a new order. Yeah, it feels like there's been a shift in the paradigm of how you would develop. And I've been reading articles about this and everything. There was something on Hacker News recently that said like programmer was never a job title. It was always software dev or game dev or web dev, and programming is part of it. Now, I mean, I can agree with the premise at least. And they're like, all right, well, now your programming is done by AI and you're doing the other parts of your dev job, like figuring out how to write software still, and what features you want and prioritization. And I still like all that stuff. It's just weird kind of dropping coding and yeah. Hard to decide on metrics, hard to create metrics due to dynamic tasks. But I think it's not always hard to decide without metrics. Like you can kind of see where the winds are blowing. And in this particular case, like I've been more productive. And even just in terms of, okay, this feature we just made here, like I don't know how long this would have taken me to code by hand, but certainly longer than 5 minutes. And I got this done with maybe 5 minutes of my time. And yeah, it's working working really well. It feels usable. It's like I can do everything I'd expect to be able to do here. Actually, something I'm just realizing now is maybe we should change the color of this little grabber handle, because when it's in the white area, it's pretty hard to see. But like I could just tell AI, okay, go change the theme of this. I don't need to go research anything. It'll just do it. And then yeah, sure enough, we accept this and it's in the game now. And it's like, yeah, would have taken me longer. Come home and hand code. Yeah. Hey, Preston. I've also filled in the time writing planning documents for the AI to work on next. Yeah, yeah. That's another thing I find myself doing is like almost pre-prompting. And thankfully, I'm on the $20 a month plan. So if I do decide to go up to a higher tier, I could spend anywhere between 20 and 100. And then the next official subsidized plan is at 100. So it's like, well, if I'm spending 50 bucks, maybe it makes sense to spend the 100. And then okay, now I don't need to worry about like quota or anything. I'm not hitting quota issues right now. If that it's functional and secure, it's easy to review and move on. Yeah. Yeah, and especially for things you don't know you're gonna keep. Howdy, Ramy. So this color picker we have, I'm probably going to keep some incarnation of this. Maybe it doesn't look exactly like this, but it's like, hey, this gets us up and running. Now playtesters can try this out. And if they're like, oh, I don't like this for some reason, or it's not clear, or I don't know, the colors look bad, then we change it. And it's like, well, instead of spending a week making this thing and saying, well, testers didn't like it, now it might be that we spent 5 minutes and we make a new one in 5 minutes. By the way, I had to write boots and shorts here because you can see there's like a tiny bit of the shorts color coming through. I almost don't know if I should even write that. Maybe I should say like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to say for that. Which AI I'm using? I'm using Codex. Yeah, I can add a stroke on that circle thing. I think we need to do that. I should write that down. Add a stroke to the circle in the color pickers so that it's clearly visible despite the background. Off design and code on the same day. Yeah, I think I did a bad job introing that. I don't necessarily mean it has to be a split across the whole day, but what I mean is if you take any like 5-minute chunk of time, it's really hard to do design and code and design and like make music or something like that. Like that'd be really kind of silly. So yeah, there's some quantum here where you'd say, oh yeah, I could split this up. And certainly a week would be fine. Like I can do design and coding and music in a week. But yeah, there's some small enough time where you can't really shift. And my whole point was, I guess the AI like prompting cycle is roughly on the order of like 1 to 15 minutes. So maybe you ask it a really simple question and it gets back to you in 30 seconds. And maybe you ask it to refactor and it takes 15 minutes. And this is what's hard to intersperse other tasks. Do you think there's a use case for that in your game? Yeah, that's pretty much what's happening. And that's what I'm saying. Like it made this screen that we see here. Like I would have taken much longer to make this screen. And it does what I needed to do. I didn't need to like struggle with anything basically. It just made this. Yeah. Hey, Illusionary Moon. And hey, Pickle. Earlier today, I needed to compare some information across 3 files. I made AI write a parser and compare. It took like 10 minutes instead of an hour. Yeah. Yeah. And they dig it. I'm so torn. At the beginning, I was a huge fan and use it for all coding stuff. Now I'm more stressed out by constantly needing to review its code. And I feel like designing and implementing something myself is more fun. Makes me more confident in my game. Yeah, well, okay, so this, I get the feeling here. Here's what I find this hard to balance with. Like, I commiserate. I think the difficulty is if you have a product that you want to go to market with, because now you need to consider what is the competition doing. And let's say handwriting code takes you, I don't know, 1.5x the time of using AI. It's like, okay, well, now for a 2-year project, it is now a 3-year project. So someone else who is deciding to use the faster way is making, you know, in 6 years they're making 3 games, whereas you only made 2 games. So when it comes to like a competitive advantage, you sacrifice a lot doing that. And this is what I think game dev has always come down to is how much is it passion versus how much is it business. And a lot of people get into it from passion and then decide like, okay, well now I want to make it a product. Some people look at it as just a business. And if you look at it as just a business, you're not gonna be like, well, what's the most enjoyable route through it? And be like, all right, how do I make the most money? Or how do I get the most users. Being used to value makes it look awkward to see. Yeah, I think value doesn't mean anything to the average person, though. That's the problem. You're more energy to spend on actual game design. Yeah, and so that's another question, which is slightly orthogonal to this, is like, how much should I use AI for game design? And my conclusion so far is game design is a skill I want to learn. And the only thing I'd maybe want to help with is maybe brainstorming could be interesting. Like, hey, challenge my ideas. And even then, it's just a substitute for if chat is ever slow if I'm doing game design. Because that's kind of how I look at things. I used to just do game design while I'm streaming. And then people would be like, hey, have you ever played this game? Or have you thought of this? Or what if you had this idea or something? It's not really that different from having an LLM ask those same questions. But I'm more hesitant to do that than to do code. Code to me is not super creative. Game design is creative. Art is creative. Music is creative. And I think there are ways to be creative with code, but I don't think it's by default creative. I think when you're making your, 400th CRUD API, it's like you're not doing anything creative there. But when you're coming up with an interesting solution to like an inventory in an RPG, it's like, oh yeah, okay, that might be creative. And so today, I haven't done it yet, but yeah, the other day I was doing some design and there's just chat wasn't moving very quickly. And it's like, that was part of the benefit of streaming before is, yeah, I'd get a lot of input and just ways of kind of just keeping the process moving. Start the prompts for what you need, review and make notes, and submit the notes and prompts one by one. Yeah. Some people just won't get better if they don't code. Yeah, and to be clear, I'm not trying to come up with like what is a blanket answer for this stuff. I think a blanket answer for all of these issues is impossible because everyone has slightly different goals. For me, I don't feel like I'm learning a lot about coding in a given day now. It's been years and years and years that I've been coding, years that I've been using Godot, years I've been doing game dev. So on an average day, I'm not learning a ton, and I kind of just want to get things done. And that's not to say I'll never try to tackle a task myself. It's just, I think for all this like grunt work, like I said, like making this screen, this is a bunch of buttons, some sliders, a couple of outputs, and some buttons that we have down here too. It's like, I've done all this stuff before. I've done layouts before. Is the 2-year project as maintainable and good in quality as a 3-year project? So assuming the answer is yes, I mean, this is a consideration that you'd still have to make is how do you, I guess let's not assume the answer. You have an equation of how you want to pursue a project. And because we're humans, enjoyment is there for everybody. It might not be very high up, but probably you don't ever consider a project to be like zero enjoyment. But yeah, enjoyment, maybe money-making potential, I don't know, how happy your clients or customers are, the technologies that you use, the maintainability, like all of these things, there's probably a million other factors in here that factor into this. And yeah, maintainability versus enjoyment versus how fast you get a project done. Yeah, timeline here versus like the hand touch input that you have, the feel of that at least. Yeah. Athena. Big cursor man. That's me. Okay, so let's take a look at how this code changed. So anyway, this has been on my mind, and I haven't come to any major conclusions yet, but I think I need to come up with something at some point because I've just been feeling a little uneasy about how things have been. I don't know what it is, by the way, but these two icons now, do they look more similar than they used to? I know they're both blue and they're relatively circular in the middle, but I keep clicking Codex when I mean Godot. Maybe they're just in different positions on my taskbar or whatever it's called, dock. Hey, Ninja, just checking in. All right, nice to see you. Hope you're having a good day. Let's take a look at this again. So if I go back to here and go to cancel, now what if I press start? Start doesn't seem to do anything. Yeah, so there's music here, right? Yeah, it's working fine. I like this. Doesn't mean you sacrifice maintainability inherently. It's just that to make a 2-year project maintainable, you need to change your work, which would be more reviewing than coding. Yeah, yeah. I do think, okay, so I do think there's a fatigue that happens with the reviewing where you let certain things slip through and it may not be obvious to you that there's a problem. But the way I kind of look at it like is let's say the AI just added a bug that I don't discover and a player eventually discovers it in playtesting. And it's like, well, I wouldn't have made that bug. Well, AI just goes and fixes that bug in like 2 minutes now, right? So in some cases, as long as you're still testing, yeah, sure, maybe you add some speed bumps here and there. If you find that you're degrading the project drastically, like we have a bunch of like, oh, I've ended the 3 operations that are going on, and yeah, the game just grinds to a halt. It's like, well, then you're not really reviewing well enough as you go through, because those are the kinds of things that might be easy to catch a review time. Okay, so change ownership of, oh, nice. This, I didn't want main owning it since it would bloat main. All right, what else do we have here? So this is all done. Add a stroke to the circle in the color pickers, excuse me. To the circular grabber in each color picker. So that it's clearly visible despite the background. Yeah. All right, now what refactoring stuff? Hey, Strawn. What refactoring stuff did this say? Best refactor is loot boxes. Largest overall debt is farming game. Internal loot boxes economy for money, prices, affordability, purchase outcomes. Keep loot boxes as a scene-facing facade. Let's go take a look at that. Is pricing information in here? I mean, this is one of the nice things about just being able to test this is I could just say, go do it. And if I like it, we can accept it. Farming game, farming zone controller first, then farming dialogue controller. Preserve existing farming game methods. Extract file watching and debounce and preview canvas control in separate collaborators. Well, this didn't open. It changed at the last second. It switched from CS to CS Proj for some reason. But it like moved the order as I was doing it. Okay. Debounce. We don't have this in here. I mean, this file is pretty large. Good morning. Splitting a document parser and sprite usage extractor. Farming player. And program. Separate command factories from localization workflow runners. Okay. Well, interesting. Let's see if this other one finished. Oh, wow. It even has a little picture here. Yeah, I think a black outline is fine. In fact, whenever you're dealing with very large color spectrums, I think just white on black is probably the best thing you can do. What do they do inside of something like this? Yeah, same thing. They have a white and black outline. Yeah, sounds reasonable. Hey, Cuttlefish. Maya Jelly Spoon. And we should be able to see this here. I guess it's not, it's kind of blurry looking, but it hopefully doesn't look that way in the game. No, they look blurry. Is it a texture? Did you have a weekend? I did, yeah. Can't say I have homework, just head to bed. All right, take care. Ninja. Yeah, I had a pretty good weekend. That was nice. All right, what is causing this? Icons, grabber, yeah, here it is. It generated an SVG that got imported as a 16 by 16. Did it? Did it add this? It did. Yes, we need to change how this gets imported. Maybe we just change all these 16s to 32s. Does that work? No, now it's not centered. What if I change this to 32s? All right, it's still centered, but it's still blurry. 64? Is it getting better or worse? I can't tell. Let's just do 256. Should be very obvious. Oh no, now it's great. Now it's also huge. So I am changing this in a way I do not want. We want to keep this as 16 by 16, but I think we want to change the view box. Yeah. So I changed this to 32 and then the circle. Oh my God, this is so annoying. And then the circle stuff to, we just double all of these. So 16, 16, and 12. Oh, wow. There's a preview right here for this. I didn't even realize that. That's neat. Is that better? It doesn't look better. Oh, I don't think I can do things this way. Yeah, I don't think I can do things this way. I don't know how you are supposed to do this. How are you doing recoloring? Shader replacing certain colors? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. To convert SVG into an image? Yes, it does. Yeah, there is an import settings thing, and maybe we could look at this over there. There's a scale. Okay, maybe I change that. So let's just revert all of this stuff. And set it to this, re-import. No, then it makes the grabber very large. So that's a problem, right? I want it to be a larger texture that gets downscaled. Maybe we set this to 0.5 and then change it over here and double everything. All right, that kind of works, but it's still blurry because we need to change this too, right? No, this needs to remain the same. God, this is so difficult. Is that what I want? No, that looks worse. There's gotta be some way to do this. I handle streaming your apps in terms of privacy, OBS settings separate. I made a video. Where is it? Yeah, I made a video somewhere about this. I can't find it. Give me a sec. Whoops. That's not what I meant to click. Yeah, reducing information leaks as a streamer, this one. Can't you scale down the transform size of the node? So the node I could change, but it'll change the entire slider because the icon is part of the slider and the icon does not have its own scale except for with the SVG. 3D mesh plane, that's scalable. Don't know about its performance though. I think there should be a way to do this with just the SVG file and potentially this scale. Yeah. Hey, noob. Want the scale to be how you change the size? The size needs to be true size to keep quality. Yeah, but what I was thinking was we render it at a larger size and then downscale it basically. So this would be, oh wait, I never just increased that, did I? Yeah, so now it's not crisp. If I do render this as 64, oh, I keep messing this up. This doesn't actually need to change, right? But it still doesn't look crisp. And Part of it could be the texture filter on this. I guess it doesn't really matter too much what I use it. Let me take a look at this in the game. Hey, Magnus. Happy 6th. All right. What am I doing? Let's just change this. No. What if we render it at an even larger size, like 256 or 128, I guess, and set this to... It doesn't like that. Plus, that's not even 1/8, right? I don't want to make a custom component for this. And if we had zoomed out to 100%, this would probably look totally fine. Yeah. I think it just has to do with how we're scaling this. What is size limit? Size of the texture is limited on import to a value smaller than or equal to this value specified here. If I set this to 16. Oh, that's not too bad. It's definitely not good. And then what if I change the filter? It's not bad. Definitely not great. Also, I don't even think I want this to, yeah, whatever. I'll probably just leave it as is. The other thing we could do is just make it a vertical bar. Am I still scaling it down? I am no longer scaling it. I just limited the size. I wonder if setting this to like 32 was fine here. Yeah, I think this is at least okay for now. It's more visible. It's not perfect. If I change this some more, what do we got? Yeah. 256. Yeah, that looks decent. Maybe even at 128 it looks decent. No, probably 256 is what we set this to. Yeah, there. That's good enough. I think it's getting rasterized now at 256 by 256. I'm not actually certain how this works. Oh, no, it says 16 by 16 here. Okay, so then it's probably fine. Yeah, it's using 1 kilobyte, which is okay with me. Yeah, it's good enough for now. Cat update. Nobody in the laundry closet was doing laundry. She found it and started playing with it. She started ripping it apart. Abby is actually sitting on this bed. She doesn't need the heating pad anymore. She is an evolved cat. How nice. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. And then we'll tackle some of these refactorings, I think. Hey, Campbell Soup. Is it jump time? Is it jump time? ABC, close the game. All right, so stats asked before the break. Does it slide the sampling position? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by that. But I'm going to check this in. So texture filter here is changed. Yeah. Add outline to HSV grabbers. This should make it more visible. I'm not super happy with how the icon looks, but it's at least visible. Slider circle never goes to the edges. Oh. I think that's just how Godot sliders work. We might need to make a custom one at some point, which, I mean, that's fine if we have to do that. I think it's, yeah, I guess it is a little bit off, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. It feels close enough where I don't think anyone would ever say that this is not working how they expect, at least. Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah, I'm not concerned about this for now, at least. All right, let's move on to the refactoring. Actually, I don't even know if I want to do the refactoring stuff right now. I kind of want to give it some of these tasks. Maybe we'll just pin this chat for now. Yeah. Okay, so tasks I can't keep putting off. let's do this. I think this can be done by setting YSort origin in tile map layer, which I did enable YSort enabled. Needed for a specific area, you can use different layers with different values. Was the pivot to the half of the tile above? Okay, let's go take a look at this in the game. Because what Kevin said here is pretty reasonable. So we go into the farming game. Skip this. Walk into the house. So right now it's like we're walking on top of walls that are on the side. And that's true for both sides, right? Yeah. That's probably what we want. But then when you get to the top, it messes up. And you go behind it. And we got to fix this for every game. Yeah. Have to fix the Y sorting for every game. All right, let's go take a look. Close all tabs. House interior. All right, enable this in your house. It's already on. And environment and the layers under that is not on here. So we just move the player over to here. Yeah, like I said, they'll always show on top, but up here they'll show behind it. So if I turn this on, we need to now change the origin. Yeah. Where is the origin? It's in rendering. Wait, what? It's not in that rendering. It's in this rendering? Yeah, it's in this rendering. -16. Did I mess that up? Oh, wall layer is -4. Good God, I can't find any more. There it is. Okay, now what? Well, I guess let's change it on here too. Why does it still look wrong? There's the pivot. Ground layer -16. I did not set it on the seed layer, but I don't know if that matters. Or maybe I didn't even turn it on here. No, I turned it on there. I did not turn it on here. No, this still is not working the way I want it to. Oh, there. All right, nice. Okay. So this is what Kevin was talking about with now we need to change the horizontal collision of the player so you don't clip into the wall. Which I almost wonder if we should do this a little bit differently. Maybe we should have a wall layer for just the side walls and a wall layer for the back wall. And the side walls you appear on top of. I mean, we could just duplicate this and test it out. Side wall layer. And delete the back walls from there. And then back wall layer. Delete the side walls from that one. And in the back wall layer, we keep that. In the side wall layer, we probably just turn this off completely. Yeah, so now you appear on top of the side walls no matter what. But you do not appear on top of... Oh, it messes up, doesn't it? Well, you wouldn't be able to go there, right? You'd only be able to go there, but it still looks bad. There's the order the tiles are drawn on the x-axis. Why doesn't this work? Oh, that one is wrong. But it's still not totally correct. Whoops. I think we just changed this to be like positive something, like 15 even. And now the player should just always appear. No, it's still not working. I'm messing something up. This should not be that hard to figure out. Yeah, there's no value here that causes this to look good. Oh, Y sort is off, that's why. Yeah, there. So just set this to like -16. Okay, so I think this would be a solution. It is weird that we do this, though. Yeah, let's hit play and see what happens. I don't know if I want to do this in every single game. So yeah, this looks fine. Then we get up to here. This looks fine. Then you dig out the wall. And it's still fine. And now you appear below this one, which is probably not expected. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. All right, what if we change some things here? Back wall has a Y-sort origin set there. What if we set this to like negative? What if we do that? Can't we just always do this for both of these? Can't we just set the whole thing to be -16 and just keep them on one layer? Yeah, it looks like everything is just totally fine if you do that. So we're kind of just omitting the wall layer from Y-sort ordering. At which point, why do we even have this on? Oh, because of that. All right, I think we fixed the problem. Let's revert the whole scene. Well, maybe that's a mistake. Let's just revert the stuff that we didn't actually need here, which is going to be kind of tedious. Yeah, let's revert the whole scene. All right, now we got to recreate the changes I made, which is to set Y sort on for all of these things. To set the ground layers Y sort origin in -16. Should we just set everything to -16 then? And same thing here, rendering -16. And then hit play. Look at the colors when you shovel. For like one frame, they're super messed up. Hang on, I want to see that. All right, we gotta go find. Let's just do this. All right, what is it? Digging? Where is digging? Why am I unable to find this? Sleep, water, idle, idle, idle. Oh, wait. Is it one of those? No. Shovel. It's not called dig, that's why. Alright, shovel right. Huh. Strange. Nothing going on there. Something's messed up then, right? Yeah, I just finally saw it. There's one frame where it's like super glitchy. And it's with the shovel out. How's it happening? Is there another shovel animation? No. Weird. Weird. I don't know what could cause that. Can I get a picture of this? Maybe I can. Doesn't happen all the time. There we go. I got a picture of it. I think it's when you do it quickly. Yeah, look at how messed up that looks. What is going on, though? I think it's using the idle recolor mask. Oh, I think I know. Oh my god, that's gonna be annoying. Yeah, I think I know what's going on. All right, let's just put this picture into Google Docs for now and take a look at it in a little bit. Fix this issue. So my guess is that this happens when changing animations between one that has a recolor mask and one that doesn't. There's a farming character. Because idle has it. Nothing else does. Yeah. You have to spam shovel for this to work. Let's take a look at that too. Yeah. The first time you do it, it's fine. If you do it immediately thereafter, it's not fine. Yeah, it's like the animation has to finish. Interesting. I wonder if we can come up with a generic fix for that. Anyway, we were not supposed to fix that right now. We were just supposed to look at this. And yeah, this looks like it's fine. So if we don't have the ground layer set to Y sort enabled, yeah, we appear beneath it. So we just need to set this to some arbitrarily large value, right? Shouldn't setting this to like -1,000,000 work? I set this to -43 and this to -43. It just means you should always appear on top of it. Yeah. I don't see any problem here. All right, well, this is a very easy fix then. Nice. Oh, you can't go... Why did I make the collision of the fireplace so big? Well, that was a mistake. Well, that's easy to fix. Excuse me. The fireplace. No, it's not the fireplace. There's the fireplace. Oh, it's also changing the table. Yuck. All right, you gotta make this unique. All right, that looks good. So now we can walk behind it. Don't think this took place immediately, but I might be 1 pixel off. It's too hard to tell, so I'll just restart it. All right, can I walk behind this? Yeah, nice. It just didn't take place immediately. Yeah, all right. I think everything's good then. Yeah, I don't see a problem. Any other oddities out here? No, there wouldn't be because I didn't modify this. But there would be at the top of this scene because I need to change this for everything, huh? Yeah, we disappear up here. All right, let's just go make those same changes everywhere. So over here, we enable this on environment and all of the sub layers that were here. Oh, I never tried planting and I closed it. All right, I want to set this to some like large value that's obviously huge. So like -99 or something. Yeah. It shouldn't matter what this is set to as long as it's taller than the character is times -1. And it is. So we're good. All right, what did I just say I wanted to test? Oh, what was it? Oh, the seed layer, right. I want to try planting seeds over here. Yeah, this is fine. We never show behind the seed. Yeah. But if we do this, we should show behind these. I mean, we do right now. I guess you can never plant anything up here that would mess it up. Oh, the seeds themselves have a problem. Yeah, all right. Let's go fix this on all the other zones. So what else do we have? Farm before dream and after dream. So there's a fill layer here. Don't we need the same rendering on this? -99. Turn this on. Oh, did that just mess everything up? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, we can just set it on everything. Ground layer, so same thing, I guess, -99. Do we need this on everything? I don't know. Let's just go try it. Replay, movement speed. All right, so do we ever show in a weird spot? The grass and the fence look a little strange right here, but that may have always been the case. And we now render behind fences. The house is also probably strange. At least when you figure out where exactly the spot is between showing up in front of and behind this. Might just increase the house collision area so this isn't a problem. So you wouldn't even be able to walk to like, this would be where you'd bump with the house. There's no great solution there. What about up here? Yeah, so we're still running into some weirdness here. Let's go fix that. I think we just set Y sort enable on everything. And that didn't fix this because we got to figure out what layer that is. It is not that one. It is not that one. Wait, it's none of these? Oh no, it's a cliff layer. So I guess set this to -99 as well. Won't this be a problem though with... No, I guess not. All right, yeah. I think this looks fine. What about trees? Are we okay there? Yes. Flowers, fine. Fences, probably fine. Yeah, like more or less. You can kind of clip into the side of it a little bit. Oh, wait. No, the grass is super messed up. Yeah, we're behind the grass right now. Grass patches. Here it is. If we just turn Y sort off, yeah, I guess this messes up. Well, I guess it's the same problem that we had before, right? We turn this on, but then we set this to -99 because you should always be on top of the grass. What about this grass? This is fine somehow. Why is it fine? Because it's in the plant layer. All right. I mean, seems pretty good. Yeah, seems pretty good. What about down here? Yeah. All right. I don't see any other weird problems. Oh, I guess this is kind of weird. The grass is overlapping with the cliff. Wouldn't we need to change this to like negative? No, that doesn't work. All right. Let's just ignore that. We probably just shouldn't have that be there in the world. Hey, bums. Okay, so we've done it on a couple of these. We need to do it on all of them, though. So now let's go over to the... We can't do this. Replay. Oh, we're going to be zoomed in. Whoops. Okay, well, whatever. It should still repo the issue, right? Shouldn't we disappear up here? Yeah, we do. Okay, we'll go fix that. So we just turn on Y sort for all of these. And then for fill and all of this stuff, we set the origin to -99 and our character appears and we should be good. I would like to zoom out. Nice. No, wait, it's broken again. Oh, because I never saved. I gotta refresh. I should put a note in my Godot notes about this because I don't think it's gonna be super apparent. All right, how we doing now? No, what? Why is it still broken? Oh, it's a cliff layer. Oh, we got to set that to -99 as well. There we go. Yep. Yeah, this looks good. Oh, that doesn't look good. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What is that clipping with? Looks like it's a ground layer. But why is this an issue? Maybe we do set this to like negative. Oh, this messes up greatly if we do that. Uh-oh. You finished the loot box minigame? Not quite yet, no, but we're very close to done with it. We need to fill out the actual items and balance it. But I think I have all the perks. I have all the mechanics. So yeah, it's just like finishing the game, which actually should be pretty fun. Farm game. Where do these strawberries go? Strawberry. Here it is. Okay, what makes one of you? Because I want to see what adds this. Collectibles node. Where's that? Huh, where's that? Get collectibles node. I don't see that. Oh, it's in the zone. Oh, also I never saved this. Okay. Or maybe yeah, maybe we're fine. So this is what, farm zone? All right, so we should see collectibles over here somewhere. There it is. So is this not Y sorted? I guess it just needs to be. Does that fix this? Looks like it's fixed. Yeah, looks like it's fixed. Oh, wait. No, this is fine. I was gonna say, when you're walking here, you're behind the plant, but it's because you need to be like 1 pixel in front of it. Maybe we should just change the Y sort origin for the plants. Yeah, probably. Like you should still be on top of it here. Yeah, let's go do that. So how do we do this? How do we do this? This all goes into the seed layer. There's a graphic here. Here are the tiles. We got to find the tile that is the grown plant here. Select. And then we change its Y sort origin here. Texture origin, yeah. So this was never set. So set it to 4. I don't know. What looks good? Is this even having an effect? Let's set it to 10. See what happens. I don't understand. Let's set it to -4. No, it doesn't look like it's having an effect. This is in the seed layer. Oh, this is before the dream. And I might use a different tile set. Oh, drat. Is it using? No, seed layer.tres. Maybe I just need to hit save. Yeah, maybe I just save and then does it work? Nope. Well, I'll restart it. It should be modifying everything. After fever dream. Okay, we walk outside here. Yes, okay, now it is definitely having an effect. So this is with it set to -4. Now we just need to figure out what value is actually correct for this. This is the same layer, right? Yeah. Well, let's look at the other plants. Maybe that would give us a good example to go by. Plants. Here we go. Go to tile set, select one of these. We set it to 8. And for one of the tall ones, we set it to also 8. And for one of the short ones, we set it to -2. All right, so this is a short one, so I guess we set it to something like -2. Too bad this doesn't have a change in real time. Yeah. I don't want to keep reloading this. I guess we could just put the player into here and see it take effect immediately. Player. Whoops. Okay, where is the player? There they are. All right. So if I change this value, that's not what's supposed to happen. Oh, I'm changing the wrong. Oh my God. Changed the wrong value here. This is supposed to just be 0. Oh, I meant to change the Y sort origin. That's why we weren't seeing any change. Oh, because I'm a dumb wad. All right. So now we just got to figure out what that's supposed to be set to. So how is that? Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Now we save and run. Maybe we'll try to finish the loot box game today. All right, so we do free play after Fever Dream. Moving speed a little bit faster. And as you go down to the fence here, yeah, now we show on top of it. And if we move very slightly upward, yeah, perfect. Okay. All right, good. So we've finished everything except for I think 2 of the maps. What's white hair? Is a visual bug? The white hair is your character customizer coming through. So like we've got white hair here. This, if we were to change, you'd have that hair color in that game too. The reason why we're swapping back to an old sprite is because we just haven't finished making the sprites for this. So the problem is, well, there are 2 problems. One is we want every character to have the same hairstyle as this character pretty much. And 2 is that we need to get them all to be colorized correctly. So like whatever you change here for your shirt color, for example, should carry with you through all the games. So we have pink hair and kind of a pinkish shirt. When you go into the farming game, you've got that for this sprite, but not for any of the other ones yet. So that's just a need to do more artwork. So I know it's pretty jarring to see, but yeah. As soon as we have that, it should be good. But yeah, I like it a lot. It really, really increases the amount of art effort that needs to be put into this stuff by making the art or outsourcing it. So we're getting the base art from asset packs. Like this one came from here. So you see all the different farming graphics we have. And then Quickie Joe is reworking it to fit the style of that platformer character and also adding in the recolorization masks. So this is what one of those masks looks like. It needs to identify using 4 different colors where the hair is, the skin, the eyes, the shirt, and the boots. So yeah, this is pretty tedious to do. And yeah, there's just no 2 ways about that, I guess. All right, so there are 2 more places we have in the game that I have not done yet, right? Speed this up. Great. Yep. All right, so we go to town. That might cause some oddities. It looks like everything's okay there, though. All right, so now we're in town. We have the same problem up here. Yep, I gotta go fix that. Thankfully, I have the same solution for all this stuff. In fact, I should probably put this in my notes before I forget. Godot tile map layer. Y sort. Where do I talk about Y sorting? One other issue you may run into is when you use a tile map layer with Y sorting and appear behind the first row of tiles. I'll just copy these images. So we'll set this at 300. And can I paste another one to the side of it and set this to 300 as well? Yes. You move up slightly. So here you can see the character has disappeared after moving upward. This is because of Y sorting. The solution in our case was just to set anything that the player should always be on top of. Is to enable Y sorting on any layer that the player should always be on top of, but set its this thing, Y sort origin to -99. That's just a really small number. Well, the only significance of -99 is that it's much lower than the height of the player sprite. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, let's switch that. Okay, so gotta do this over here. This is the town. So just click all these things, click that. Fill, round layer. Oh, whoops, there are way more than that. Whoops. Okay, let's undo that. So set it for all of these. Fill, ground layer, probably terrain. What is terrain? Yeah, fill, ground layer, terrain. And there's a cliffs layer. We got to go change those. Rendering -99. All right, we're seeing a glitch there. Although that's not something the player ever sees, I think. Grass borders. This should also probably be -99. What else? Grass terrain. Yeah, same thing. Grass patches. Flowers, you can appear in front of or behind. Same thing there. Secret is just the skull. The skull looks messed up. I guess this is something you should also always appear on top of. Now this is messed up. Because this doesn't have Y sorting enabled? No, it does. Does it not need it? I don't know. Also, I'm not totally sure why there are 2 layers for that. Did I mess that up? I probably messed this up. Let's ignore that for now. Let's come back. Lamps are fine. Trees are fine. Raised terrain. This is all messed up now. And this is going to break the trees, won't it? It didn't. Oh, I'm not sure how. So just the skull is messed up? Can I turn everything else off? And see what this looks like? Secret. There's a hole with a skull in it. I see. I think just the skull would probably be fine. Where is this? There it is. Yeah, I think just the skull would be fine. This is H flipped. Oh, that's weird. How does it get flipped in the other direction? Huh. I don't see what does that. Is it something in the tile set itself? I think the tiles can say that they're H flipped. So if I click this, we have rendering, miscellaneous terrains, animation. Is it not in here? Strange. I don't know what's responsible for flipping that. Yeah, weird. Can you do this here? Oh, flip tile. Wow, I didn't realize you can do it when you draw it. Okay. No, we still have a problem here. And that this is getting put behind one of these things. And we want it to always be on top. Maybe we just turn off Y sorting for that. All right, let's turn it all back on now. And try it out. Then we just have like 6 more of these things to do. All right, free play before sidekick. So here we are. We're going to walk around over to there. Let's get rid of this axe. Anything unusual happening here? No, I think everything's okay. I think the skull is rendering on top of the flowers. No, it's not. Yeah, I think this is good. Oh, weird. We can't delete the skull completely. Oh, very weird. It's still there, but like slightly faded out. And there's no collision either. Should we keep that there? Huh. Why isn't that getting deleted? Because it's in the secret 2 layer? This should probably not be a sub-layer of the other layer. And then it probably would get deleted just fine. So if we do this and then refresh. Yeah. Yeah, these changes that I'm working on right now about changing Y sorting, they've been a long time coming because before this, you could just go off the top of the world and you wouldn't see your character. And everyone's like, oh, that's weird. And I'm like, yeah, that's actually a real bug. Digging out houses, digging out trees, that's all intended. All right, nice. Now I delete the whole thing. Nice. Okay, cool. Hey, Stephen. Hey, Method. How's the momentum feeling? It's feeling pretty good. Yeah. I'm excited about working on some of those new games we designed. I think the thing I'm most excited for right now, though, is putting this back in the hands of playtesters to see what they think. Because I think we've been going for quite some time without any sort of validation. How do you dig this up? There we go. All right, so if we go into the community center, this is the final area in the farming game that has this problem. So if you dig out of the top of the community center, oh, you can't go up there? Oh, that's strange. I mean, we could just say that that's it. Can you go out of bounds over here? You can't. Interesting. Oh, you can walk out of the community center. Oh, that's actually a bug, isn't it? Yeah, this is a bug. It's not a large bug, and I never discovered it until now. You can just walk out of the bottom of the community center anywhere. We're going to make multiplayer games? No. That wouldn't make sense for this. In fact, I think the only games I've seen do something like that, it's either that the multiplayer is like an optional touch on top of it. I think Dark Souls did something like that where you could, or maybe it was Elden Ring, I don't know, where you could like see where other players died. So it wasn't necessary for the game. Then one of the games made it so you could actually like play with other people. And then maybe single player games where you unlock multiplayer games afterward. But in this game, imagine you're playing through, imagine it's 2 hours long, and at minute number 76, you get a multiplayer game. Like, how many people are going to be playing at any given time? Would you be able to find a player for that? And would it be fun? Wouldn't it just be a multiplayer game at that point? But I think it'd be a lot of extra work. All right, so being able to leave the community center from any part of it, I just never did anything about that, right? Yeah, I see the ending, the region down here. We need to allow you to leave this. And then here, what is the problem with this? Walls and walls border. You're not able to walk there because the ground layer stops. Ah, because the ground layer stops. Okay, so we just needed to duplicate some of this. and then you'd be able to walk up to the top of this. Alternatively, we don't duplicate any of that. What do we do with the house interior? House interior has walls encompassing the ground. And in the community center, all right, here's what I think we do. Let's just take this entire row. Actually, you know what? No, let's take this row. That way it doesn't look like I just copied the same row right above. Not that you'll ever see this. And now you should be able to go one tile into the wall. Hey, Scholar. So farming game, play, speed up a ton, go into the community center, speed up again. Okay, so we now dig into the wall, and yeah, nice. Okay, so this is kind of what I wanted to have happen. I don't think you should ever have to do this, but if you do this, you should be able to still see your character, and you can't. And we should probably allow you to go all the way to the top. We don't let you do that in your house, though, right? You can walk onto this tile, but you can't walk down. How is it even possible? How are you able to walk here? Can you dig that up? Yeah, you can. That's fine that you can't go farther than that. But how is that happening? The ground ends here. Right? If I click this, it's got nothing selected. Weird. How is Monday going for you? Monday's going pretty well. I've been a happy camper so far. I think there was one topic earlier that I was discussing about like what's become of the stream ever since AI has become a thing. And yeah, I feel like we have kind of two modes now. Well, maybe three. We have like non-game dev or non-coding tasks. These are unaffected. They're the same as before. If I'm ever making music, if I'm doing game design, I just don't use AI for that stuff. Then we have coding tasks. These are like completely replaced by AI, it seems. And then we have, I don't know, sucky tasks like this, fixing tiny issues. These are kind of the same. So it's like, this does need to be done. I've never really shied away from doing this stuff on stream unless it was private. So like if I were, I don't know, filling out bank information for Steam or something, like, yeah, I'm not going to do that on stream. But yeah, this is part of game dev. Sometimes you got to spend 2 hours fixing Y-Sword issues. So yeah, I'm not too bummed out by doing this, and it's going well, and I'm learning something, and we're writing in our notes about this. Yeah. So we go back to the community center, and we just got to see, is there anything wrong with this? Like you can dig up here now. I think that's fine. You can't actually walk up there. Did I start this through? Yeah, I did. All right, let's go fix all of these. Ground, carpet, walls, and walls border, you should always show on top of. So we just have all these in -99. And that should fix it. It did not fix it. Why did it not fix it? Does environment have Y? No, it doesn't. There you go. Now it's fixed. Yeah, so you can't walk up to the very topmost part of this. I think that's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And then on the bottom, I think we need to change how this works. I can't test it even. All right, let's try this. Let's move the transition region downward. I got to be very careful about this. So let's just pick the transform. Let's just do +50. Or, yeah, -50. Whatever. That works too. And now we should be able to walk right back into the community center and not leave it. No, it didn't take effect. Maybe if we do this. Nice. Okay, cool. That did it. So now what happens if I dig out the wall here? I cannot walk down there. Oh. So I think we just move where the transition region is. Yeah, that's it. So shrink this down to here and down to here. And we can make it a little bit wider. I don't mind if it looks like you're kind of clipping through the wall. You have no reason to leave the community center, just to be clear. So it doesn't really matter. All right, but that's the entire farming game. I think every zone has now been done, right? There's nothing else. We have the town, we have your house, we have the farm before the dream, after the dream, community center. That's 5. Where is this located? NPC house. Oh, no, that's not. You don't go inside of a house. Yeah, nice. Everything's good. Still going through my weird stuff with AI, trying to utilize it more to learn. Yeah, yeah. And I hope it helps for that. I think my equivalent is I've always liked game design. I think it's a very interesting thing to think about, but it's very tough. And one of the problems is you can't really validate design on its own, or not game design at least. Like at some point, you need the game to see if it's fun. And that's part of why it's so hard. It's like some things sound fun on paper and they're not. Some things don't sound fun on paper and they are. So you design something with all the experience you have and it just turns out, oh yeah, that's not fun. It's like, okay, well, if you didn't prototype it, how'd you find out? You can't just give it to somebody and say, does this sound like it would be fun? So I've been debating on should I do like AI brainstorming? Like I never want to say, hey, I need a game that is a first person shooter or something, go make it. I want to still apply some human creativity to this. And so far that's all I've done. I've not used AI for game design at all. And I do want to be able to say when this game is complete that like AI didn't touch sound, music, art, game design. It was just for coding. So that's what makes me think I don't even want to use it for brainstorming. Oh, nice. That's great, Scholar. Yeah. Yeah, I think if you keep that up, you'll learn a lot. Everything should be good. Why do I have 7 Discord notifications? Okay, just making sure it wasn't like a spammer. All right, so we're done with this game. Now we need the top-down shooter to have the exact same things applied, and then probably also the loot boxes game. Let's go try it out. The loot boxes game actually doesn't have this problem. I'm not really sure why. We're going to hide those nav tiles eventually, but yeah, if it doesn't have this problem, it doesn't have this problem. So whatever. All right, great. So the top-down shooter does have the problem though. And there are a bunch of different rooms here. I might need to change this after Darkstorm's done. By the way, he's been working on. Yeah, he's probably going to change. Yeah, I'll do this afterward. Okay, so top-down shooter. Fix Y sort issue after Dark has made the new tile maps. We just need to enable Y sorting on everything and then set the rendering origin to -99 for walls and floors that you should always appear on top of. So if you weren't supposed to always appear on top of it, what would we have done? I guess it is the boundary wall. Yeah. Yeah, also, I know everyone comments on my note taking, and I care about my note taking, but I think if I were to boil it down to like a few things that makes it good, it is I take notes on anything I feel I may forget that would be important in the future or something I want to share. So I may not forget it, but maybe someone else needs to know in the future. And I update notes when necessary. And if I can't find something, I put it in the first place I looked. I think those are the main qualities. And then the notes themselves are typically just like headers and lists. So yeah, I think anyone can kind of follow these same properties here. It's like, oh, hey, I'm learning something new about whatever. I'm learning Rust. and you think, okay, how did I set this up? How did I install it? What gotchas did I run into? What are the things I want to know at the beginning? Now, those things you want to know at the beginning are typically not things you need to know later on or that you just inherently know. So like in C sharp, you might write like constant x equals 5. You probably wouldn't be like, hey, the const comes before the int, or like int is the integer type or something. Like that doesn't really matter to you once you've been coding for a while. And that's where it's this. You update notes when necessary. It's like if you never make it beyond the beginner phase, this probably is important. And if you do make it beyond it, then just delete all those notes. Okay, so I got to check in what I've done here. So where I left off, check in what I've done, respond to the issue, close the issue, and then assign more tasks to Kevin. Everything should be noteworthy. I can move later. Yeah. And I think this is where like, yeah, note taking, if it becomes too expensive, you do need to start delineating between what will I need in the future and what won't I, and sometimes that's tough to figure out. All right, well anyway, we have 10 seconds until an ad starts. So is it jump time? All right, hello again. Close the game. Hey, TechCrunch. Is there a place where I can watch Adam's older videos like the ones during COVID when he's prepping for job interviews? Yeah, all my VODs are available through these links. Actually, let me just type the VODs command. And then the like interview prep thing, I think you should be able to find. Oh wait, I know where. I think I made a playlist. Oh, there it is. Yeah, here. Interview prep. There you go. But hey, Mars. Hey, Troy. Do you do something special when you feel stuck? I think it depends on what I feel stuck with. Like if it's making a decision, it might be, I don't know, talk to people about it. If it's some game dev thing, maybe it's, I don't know, something technical. It might be like try different things out or list out pros and cons. Yeah, it depends on what I'm getting stuck with. I think it's hard to give a blanket answer across all realms I might be stuck with. But in general, it would be like analyze why I'm stuck or what's causing me to be stuck. And I think there's a special case for something like analysis paralysis. So let's say you have, I don't know, 3 decisions or 3 options and you can't figure out which one's best. I think unless it's like a super high stakes, like, am I going to go bet all my life savings on roulette in Las Vegas or something? If it's not a super high stakes thing, I think the answer is always like pick the one that seems most reasonable in the next 5 seconds and commit to it. Basically, just move past the paralysis. You might find out later that, oh, that wasn't the best decision. And that's why I say if it's not high stakes, like who cares? If it's like, oh, well, we can implement this feature in 1 of 3 different ways. It's like, yeah, maybe it comes back to bite you in the future, but sitting around for a week not doing it to try to find the best way forward would also just bite you now. Keyboard still weirds you out. If I lose, it's on you. But if you win, then I get all the winnings. All right, so yeah, we gotta go check this stuff in. All of these changes, or pretty much all of these changes, should be pretty minor. This one technically is not part of this. This is me changing the community center transition region. So shrink community center transition region. You could previously walk through any part of the bottom of the screen. All right, so that one didn't really matter, but the rest of these should just be Y sorting. Oh God, what changed here? I changed something very slightly. This is in the community center too. What did I do? What did I do? Oh, I added the ground layer. Yeah. Okay, we could just check that part in. Add more ground layer to the community center. It's just 1 extra row so that you can walk onto the portion that you dig up. So you can walk onto one, well, if you dig up those tiles. Yeah. Okay, hey Sarah. How goes the week for you? If I win, it's on me, my decision. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I'll absorb the losses. You can absorb the win. So every other thing that we have here, what's that? Oh, I thought I modified texture filter. I did not. Yeah, every other thing here should be one of a couple different things. What is this doing here? It's got set to 0. This probably doesn't matter. It's the difference between 0.6 and 0 in the community center. Oh, I moved that. Oh, darn it. All right, fine, whatever. I don't care. I'm not doing anything about that. Technically, that should have been checked in with like 2 commits ago, and I can go fix it, but I just don't care. Yeah, everything else here looks good. What is this? Rectangle shapes got changed in IDs. I think it's fine. And in the position of what is that? Your house interior. Oh, the fireplace. Yeah. Okay. So fix Y sorting issues. Fixes. What is this? 12. The general technique used was to enable Y sorting on any tile map layers that we had, and then set the Y sort origin to -99 for layers that should always appear below the player. There are a couple of unrelated minor changes here as well, e.g. shrinking the collision on the fireplace and slightly relocating the community center transition region. Thank you for looking into this. It turns out we can just set a Y sort origin of -99 for the ground for any layers that should always appear below the player. So that's what I did in the entire farming game. The commit is still on a branch for now. I have not done this for the top-down shooter yet, despite that it's a problem there too, since Dark will probably end up changing the tile map layers that we use. But I wrote a note to myself to fix it afterward. Comment. So where I left off, check in, respond, close will happen automatically later, assign more tasks to Kevin. Yeah, so the next task I want Kevin to figure out, because I only give him really unfun tasks, is in here. Item displays do not center their price controls. So if you set this to whatever, some number here, it's not like perfectly centered. And I think floating text is not centered either. Fingers crossed, still chilling. If I don't get staffed by 11 a.m., another day at home. Wait, how many days has this not happened yet? Let's go take a picture of this in the game. So this is inside the loot boxes game right here. So we just do grant most things. Yeah, this. Center some controls in the loot boxes game. So price displays, or what is it? Price controls above item display aren't centered. And what's the other one? Whoops. Meant to click this. I think it's when they buy an item. They're gonna buy something. Oh, it's centered above the customer, I think. No, it's not. Never mind. Okay, wait, I gotta get a picture of this. Go buy something. There we go. And then the floating, what is it called? Floating money text. Floating money text should be centered above the item's purchase position. Assign to Kevin. Create. Okay. Now I gotta tell him about that at some point. And I also gotta figure out if there's any other task I can give him. Tell Kevin about the tasks that I assigned to him. Centering stuff. For business days. Been learning to program Arduinos in C++. It's an interesting language. Use VB.NET, C#, GScript, Lua, Python, Miniscript. Interesting how all the languages are different, still basically the same. Yeah. Do you have any projects in mind for the Arduino? Because I've done some stuff with Arduinos in the past, or like Arduino adjacent things like Raspberry Pi. And it's cool, it's fun, and then I find I have like a maintainability mess on my hands. So the most recent thing I did is I bought one of those ESP boards, and I connected a capacitive touch button and then put it on my wife's end table so that she could like turn off our lights just using this device. The problem is the wires were pretty flimsy and kept detaching, and I'd have to like resolder them all the time. And I just eventually got tired of it. And like, I don't have a 3D printer, so making a housing for it would be difficult, I think. But it was fun to do. Now it's just sitting around in a cabinet. All right, do we have any other tasks that I can give Kevin? Fix this issue. Oh, yeah. Stepping stones. I mean, the controller glyphs thing would be interesting. I don't know if it's a micro task. Yeah, I'll probably hold off on that for now. Because he said he wanted some bite-sized tasks. Screen. Prototyping. Wait, do I have anything else written there? Steam page, checkpoint 2. Development velocity, can we speed things up? Okay, well that's at least good for now. I want to consider this some more. Maybe I'll take a look at this. Let's see which other tasks I should give Kevin. Want to build a rover to drive around the house? Oh, cool. VSP32 as well. Bought a PLC and I'm building a PLC trainer board. Yeah, having a 3D printer I think changes a lot of that stuff. And it opens up other projects to you. Like Valve just talked about some e-ink screen. Yeah, this. I don't know what the point of this is. I think it goes on the front of the Steam machine. Showing stats doesn't seem interesting at all to me. But anyway, they have a link to a YouTube video here where someone's assembling this whole thing. And they're like, oh yeah, 3D print these pieces and then do a bunch of stuff. And like the soldering and everything else, it seemed like it's not a simple project. But yeah, if you don't have a 3D printer, I don't think they'd sell you the plastic pieces you'd need. CNC router, wow, yeah. Try changing the idle mask color for the platformer's hair. See if you prefer that for shading. All right. Yeah, it's about time I go look into this because I wanted to try something out. So here it is. I want to change all of this red. How do we do this? Yeah, here. Why is this not doing anything? What is this? What is this tool? Reveal to me your name tool. Flood select tool. Yeah. Why is this not doing? Oh, there it goes. All right, so I want to select all the hair pretty much. Oh, God. Is there a way to... Oh, contiguous. There we go. Nice. All right, so we selected all the red in the document. Now what I want to try is I want to darken that red. And I'm very bad at this program, so bear with me for a second here. We're gonna do this. We're gonna pick red 0, 0, and set this to like 128. Nice. I gotta write this down in my notes because I didn't even realize how easy that was to do. Oops. Replacing color with another color. Here's at least one way I did this. This tool is W. Press W to select the flood select tool. Uncheck contiguous so that you select across the entire document. And then, what is it? Press G to select the flood fill tool. Uncheck contiguous so that you fill in the entire document. Easy peasy. All right, so I got to export this. Assets, sprites, characters, platformer, idle, recolor. And then we need to go open up that sprite tool again. So what we've done is we darkened what indicates where the hair is. So it should make it use more of the base color if I'm not misunderstanding. Oh, I set this up. So if we set this to the default colors, you won't notice any difference because they're the default colors. But as soon as I change the hair color to, let's say, like, I don't know, bright red, it cannot get to that exact red color. It's mixing in more of the white. So now just going across the hue slider here, let's zoom in a little bit more. Just going across the hue slider here, these are the colors you could get. And if you go darker, you see it's still not, like, even if I pick black, you can't get the color to be black on the hair. So I guess the way we've done this then is actually reasonable. We could go slightly lighter on the mask color. So this is 128 because that's like 196. And then it should take effect immediately. Yeah, so now we can go darker. This is as dark black as you could get the hair to be, though. So yeah, I think it's a question of where we want to do the shading. And I kind of want to take a picture of this. Maybe with the hair color up there. So ask Quickie Joe about the shading recolor masks. For example, if I change the idle mask so that the hair color is 196, 0, 0. That's what I did, right? Yeah. You can't get solid black anymore for the hair. But in our original graphics, so if I just revert this, now the hair color is solid black. There's no shading on it whatsoever. So I want to take a picture of this too. And let's shrink these. I know it looks horrendous when it's in negative color. You can't tell. You can't tell what's what. But you can see the shading difference even in negative color. Here the hair is two distinct colors, and here it's just plain white, which means negative is black. And there's something to be said for this style, but if you set everything to black, it's like the shading is just gone. And so it makes me think that some amount of this should be done in the recolor mask. Like some players probably would want this as their character. Yeah. but I don't know. And now, is there a way to darken just everything here? How would we do that? This I'm not familiar with. Yeah, I don't know how you do this. It's probably in here somewhere. Can I do this and set? Oh, perfect. Okay. So I want to just do negative 25%. Negative 25%. Okay, now what? Merge? All right, the important part though is if we use the color picker, it should still, no, this didn't work. We need it to not add in other color components. Like I wanted to take the full green that we have and just make it, like 196 or something. There's probably a way to do that. It's not this. Or at least it's not the luminosity there. Maybe saturation. Okay, maybe it's saturation. How do you apply this? Is it just done? I think it's done. No, it still didn't work. What am I doing? Brightness, maybe? This doesn't preview. Wait, this isn't doing anything. Reset. Whoops. Do I need to select everything first? Oh, wait. What am I doing? I'm adding layers here. Okay, my bad. That's maybe, okay. Maybe I was doing the right thing and I didn't realize these were stacking on top of each other. So I set this and then change the saturation and then hover over this. Did it just crash? This is super slow. No, I don't think I want this at all. Reset. Just get rid of this. Oh, wait. Wait. How do you get that dialog back? Oh, you can change the value apparently. But that's still not what I want. No, that is what I want. Oh, wow. Okay, well, that took a lot of work, but we did it. So merge it, I guess. And now the colors should still use the exact same components as before. Wow, look at that. All right, so now I want to save this one and go see how that looks. All right, so I gotta write this down. Note in affinity to like darken each color without changing the other RGB components. Go to pixel new adjustment layer. And then what was it? HSL? Check the value box. Or check the HSV box. And then change luminosity. Okay. I use Mac much, but I wonder why Microsoft doesn't steal that folder traversal process. I like that view, the drill down, but I also like how Explorer on Windows operates by default. Like pressing enter will enter the folder. It literally does what the key is and enters it. But here it's rename. And I get that you're trying to pick what is the more common thing for you to do here. But to enter a folder on Mac, it is command down, which for me means I need to use 2 fingers to do this, as opposed to just like arrow key. Okay, enter that folder, then enter a different folder. So yeah, I don't know. Wait, what? Looked up the info, open the second link first, keyboard 2. Oh, this. This is a pretty good keyboard. I forgot I even had that there. Okay, so for example, if we just lower the luminosity on all colors by 25% and then set the palette to black, we get this. So all white. All white looks a little bit washed out, and the default colors, I guess they'll always look the same. If we randomize here, these are the kinds of colors we can end up with. So let's just go with the brightest of all of these and see. I don't know. Okay, I still think this looks good. The hair definitely looks fine. And then as you get to white, it looks the same. As you go to dark, darker and darker, it's like it's still got a highlight on it. The super saturated shirt colors all look fine. As you go darker here, I guess you can still see the color a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is a better way of doing things. We just don't allow you to use the entirety of the color that you have. And why is it a problem? Just for black, I think. How does it change your boot and shirt color? I wonder. Hey, Vaseline. All right, I think I want to programmatically try this out. Or you know what? Is there an easier way to export an image? Can I just like save over the same image? Because if there was a one button way of doing that, there's save. Yeah, so that would probably work, right? Let me try this out. So let me hit Command Z and then save. Save document. Contains non-pixel elements. Would you like to save, flatten the pixels, or save as a new document? Oh, nice. It worked. Okay, yeah. So we can change this immediately then.
Whoops.
So now if I save again and choose
Whoops.
save flattened, yeah, it just automatically updates over here. Okay, so that'll let us get these changes. What is going on with Affinity right now? There we go. So I want to change the luminosity. Oh, it already
Whoops.
merged. I guess, can we reset? No, we can't reset. I got a Command Z. There we go. All right, so if we darken this by like 50% and then I save, that can't be correct. No, that's definitely not correct. Something went wrong here. Oh, HSV isn't selected. All right, now let's try again. 50%. All right, save, flatten. All right, that looks... I know, kind of strange. Like the green is turning into yellow there. Yeah, I don't like that. The default one looked best. Yeah, I just want to see the effect of changing the shades over here. I think 50% is too much. I wonder if there's something in between that would look good, like minus 10%. So this darkens it a bit. Now we save this. And yeah, you see the colors get way more vivid over here. And we can just set this to colorful, for example. I'm so torn because it's so hard to figure out like what I'm even doing here. I think if we set this to all black, we actually get some shading now. And I think that's maybe the... biggest influence here. Try this again. So this is negative 25 because that wasn't too bad. And then save that. Yeah, so it's a character looking like they're in the shadows versus that their clothing color changed. I think that's what I think the difference is. The difference between the character looking like they're not illuminated but still having the original clothing colors versus changing their clothing colors. So the reason I'm doing any of this is I want to figure out what is the best way to let the player customize their colors. So here we've chosen an all black palette, and here we've chosen an all white palette. This makes them look almost like washed out. You can still kind of tell they were supposed to have a blue shirt and maybe red boots, so the red's a little bit harder to see, I guess. Their hair is clearly white. If we change, if we change this to go back to bright colors, not full brightness yet. There, now it's full brightness. Yeah, so this is the original mask that we have. We save this. Now it's as though everything is monochrome for them that you can customize. And same thing with black. It's like we just turn everything black. There's no detail anymore. I don't think most players are going to play with everything set to black, though. They'll probably pick like bits and pieces. So if we go back to the default, you might change like your shirt to black. And yeah, that's reasonable, but still all the shading is lost, right? Yeah, it is lost. I think that's the problem. I don't know what you set this number to make, like, to compromise between these couple of different things you could do. Seems like somewhere between 5 and 25%. Whoops. 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 Seriously? My mouse, like, disappeared there. There we go. Well, I don't want to change things for when they are in shadows in a game. Yeah, I think most people are probably gonna want like, well, maybe not most people, but they'll want like brighter colors for hair for the shirt. This is decent. Yeah, this is decent. This is with 10% luminosity shifting. Eyes, we probably got to do something different about. Eyes, I think we need to change the base. Because you can't get like bright eye colors. This is with bright cyan set, and you can see the eye color is like a darker blue. So this is 10%. Again, if we change the hair to black, you can barely see a highlight up here. Let's try 20%. So now you can see much more of a highlight here. It's like their hair is gray. I don't know. If you had black hair in real life, this is probably how it looked like if you animated it in a game, right? It's not going to be like solid black. And yeah, these are roughly unchanged. I know they are mixing with white a little bit more. Alternatively, what we could do here is we could just special case once you go very dark on the color scale. I'm not sure what's best. Yeah, I'm not sure what's best. I also don't want this to get too out of control. Like us having to modify masks for everything just to change this around. Yeah, maybe we do just customize this. Because if you want that same effect, you could just set this to a different color. Yeah, you can achieve the exact same thing I was just talking about. You just set this to like a grayish thing, right? No, that technically doesn't do it because then you can't tell that your shirt was originally blue. So I guess you would need to set this more on the blue side of things and then do that. Yeah, I guess yeah. I think my conclusion is as long as a player can pick a color from somewhere in this block of colors and it looks like what they want, then great. I don't think we need to do anything for the other colors. Okay. That's my conclusion. Let's just probably stick with that. Players can achieve the effects that I have below by just picking a different color. So perhaps we don't want to do anything special here. And the last thing I want to look at is just the eye color. How do we change this? We got to change it in here, right? Because here it's set to green, but it's not. Where's the color picker here? 127.38. So I guess what this is saying is no matter what color you pick, this top one is at like roughly half saturation. So you can never get beyond half saturation in your final thing either, right? So if we zoom in on the eyes and we set it to bright red, we're going to have that same ratio for this color. Hex to RGB. Convert. Yeah, 127.2 for green. But yeah, the saturation cannot go above that halfway mark, which is what we saw even in Affinity, right? Yeah. So I think what this means is that we should change all of the eye colors so that they're brightened, which is pretty simple to do because I think even I can do this. We click that. I say pretty simple, but I'm not actually clicking anything for some reason. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? What's going on here? I'm clicking this tool. Okay, clicking that works. And now it's working. All right, now we want to flood fill it with a brighter color. 127.38. Yeah, so let's just pick. Doesn't matter what color we pick. Well, it kind of does because it's the default. So 127.38, 0. Now I want to just change the saturation. Or no, the lightness, right? To that. And then we need to do the same thing with this lower pixel. Oh, man. Can we just multiply the current thing we did by that same ratio? 110 divided by 127 times 255. 221. I don't know what I'm doing. 221, and then probably the same thing here times 73. I don't know if you're supposed to modify that too, though. But yeah, let's set that to 63 and then paste. Okay, so now I have very bright eyes, and this would be the default. So if I save this now, export, we'll see this change immediately inside here. Yes, now you have like spooky looking eyes. And technically the way you'd fix this is by darkening the eyes in the default color palette. So now this looks like what their normal eyes were. What is this sprite tool? This is a custom made thing for the game. This one on the right side though is Affinity. Yeah, there's something else weird going on here. I think it's just the checkerboard effect makes it look strange. Actually, this does look kind of strange, right? Having saturation set to that high and maybe having that like bluish pixel there. Although I guess you'd always be looking at it zoomed out like this, right? Let's just try it in the game. I don't know, let's just give her red eyes and just accept. How does it look in the game? That looks pretty good. I only changed it for the idle frame. So I don't know while I'm walking around because then it's going to look bad. Well, it won't look bad. It'll just use the other eye color. Hey, Krasner. Thank you. You have a good week too. Yeah, I like the idea of customizing these colors. I'm not sure what to do about the eyes. Like I said, you can't go beyond the saturation the original image had. So we need to modify the original image here. Is it worth it? Like, if we don't do this, then your eye color could at best be at half intensity or whatever, lightness or saturation, whatever it's called. So if I just Command Z both of those changes, and then we save this. Did that not work? I think it worked. So now over here, yeah, we're back to the, so now even with bright green set, they're not bright green, they're at half green. And at half green, they're a quarter green, at a quarter, they're an eighth, and at zero, they're just full black. And it's not bad. This isn't like, if that's what you want your eye color to be, like that's a darkish purple, right? That's, but you just can't get bright colors here. But if we want that to be possible, we need to make sure that some part of the original image has full saturation and then shading kicks in. So like the boots have these highlight colors here. The shirt has this on the left side. Is that full? It's not full. The hair is, yeah, full white. This, yep, full highlight. And the skin gets to, yeah. Yeah, all of that other stuff is fine. I just think maybe the shirt could be lightened a little bit. Or maybe, I don't want to get too crazy with this. Never mind. Yeah, maybe we just do this for eyes. I'll talk to Quickie Joe about eyes. The one exception is with the eye color. The base color is 127.38. 127.38, which means that the maximum, what is it called? Like brightness you can get is roughly 50%. In other words, choosing like 255.00 as your eye color will result in 127.00 being used. Is this what we want? And if the answer is yes, I'm fine with that. That's cool. Like, I don't think it's a big problem. Also, different sub games can do different things. So if we set our eye color here to like bright green and it only looks like it's kind of dark green here, a later game could change that. So if we go into the farming game, like I don't think the eye color was customized here. Oh no, it was. Wait, right? I think it was. I don't know. Maybe not. Let's set it to pink. That's the hair. I want to set the eyes to pink. There, accept. And go into the farming game. Is that pink now? Yeah, so this is the same deal here. This is the color we ended up with. Hey, Sejamara. Modify the base sprite to be white eyes. Yeah, that would work. Well, they can't be totally white because you can see there are two different colors here. So we need this one to be totally white and then this one to be like a slightly darker gray. The problem is I'm very bad at figuring this stuff out. If I set that to white and I set it to, this is not changing gray. How do you change? What am I doing? Lightness. What am I messing up right now that I can't figure out? I don't know. All right, let's just set it to 200, 200, 200. There. Save that. Open up the tool. Yeah, so this would also allow us to get very bright colors here. But if we go to the default now, it's going to have white eyes. Oh, no. It's not going to have white eyes. Yeah, there's no such problem, I guess. We can just set the eyes to white and then change the default palette. Yeah, there shouldn't be any problem. Yeah, there shouldn't be any problem as long as we're okay with how this looks. You could set like very glowing bright green eyes, for example. And if we're okay with that, which yeah, I don't see why we wouldn't be. I guess the other problem is that it does mean we need to modify every single sprite in the game. So yeah, we set this to bright pink, we hit accept, and now our character has glowing pink eyes. Yeah. I think there's some really ugly combos you can make. Also, I just don't like yellow as a color. But let's try to make a non-ugly combo here. So let's go with something like... all right, shirt. No, I actually don't want this. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, shirt. Nice. Okay, skin tone. So this is with the brighter eyes, I think. Yeah. Red eyes look nice on that. Yeah, let's go with red eyes. And then boots. Okay, now we just change the hair a little bit. Right, accept. Yeah, so the problem is now it looks like out of place with the graphics around. Whereas it looked okay on the character select screen. How long did it take you to assign layers? So Quickie Joe did that, and I don't know how long it took him. Yeah, I don't know. The character looks out of place. I think that's my issue with a lot of this. Is whatever you design over here can just clash with the colors of the actual game. But I think it's important that the player can change their colors. Right, like this color palette is not found elsewhere. Like you don't have this pink or this purple. I mean, we are mixing different asset packs here anyway, and that's kind of the whole point of the game. And yeah, same thing here. It's like you're the only super colorful thing, right? Now I chose the super colorful palette, and a player doesn't have to do that. So what, we mute this a little bit more? Hair we set to like... That's not the problem. Maybe the problem is just the super saturated shirt or something. And I wonder if this means we should change this screen so that you can see it in the context of the world. I don't know, I'll see what playtesters say. because I still like the idea of customizing colors. Uh-oh. This doesn't even use the colors. Uh-oh. Okay. Didn't realize. Yeah, cutscene's got to be the actual character with a colorization. All right, let's write that down. Bug, the architect realm just has your character as an animated sprite without the colorization palette. Hey, Busheros. Maybe we should change the color palette according to the game, right? So we could do that. Yeah, I'll talk to Quickie Joe about this. Most colors, most palettes that the player chooses probably won't look like they match the game that the sprites are in. Should we do something about that? Adam will talk to his guy. Well, I know I talked to Quickie Joe already about, like, is there a problem with letting players pick any random colors here? Like, you make your character look like this or like this. Is there a problem with that? He's like, no, if a player wants to pick that, they should just be able to pick that. And I agree to some extent. There are A Link to the Past randomizers that people have done, and you can customize your sprite that you use. And people have all sorts of, like, yeah, like this, for example. Like, that's not even Link. And people use, like, Mega Man or, yeah, like this. Like, this sprite just doesn't look like it fits. So if you zoom in on this, it's just not even from the same game. And that's how players want to play, so that's how they play, right? But yeah, for spectators, it's a bit jarring. So if anyone streams this game. Yeah, at least this looks like it fits. This is not Link, but it's at least a sprite from this game. I feel like a bit of an outsider if the player's in a totally different palette. Actually, that's kind of true, right? I never thought about it from that perspective. Yeah, but I'll talk to Quickie Joe about it. Do some clashy and wonky color palettes. I hardly noticed you there. With your bright pink hair and your bright green shirt. All right, so we tested this stuff out. Now we got to fix this issue, and then I got to go get lunch pretty soon. So this is in, let's just revert everything I was just doing. Okay. So this is inside the farming game, at least. I don't think I ever noticed it inside the platformer. But yeah, we go to the farming game, go to free play, and just start digging, and you see this weird color palette thing happening there. And I got to find out why that's happening. It's probably that the shader is getting the wrong color. So apply palette, recolorable sprite 2D. Don't we also have a recolorable animated sprite? Yep, here it is. All right, so I think something's messing up here. Refresh recoloring deferred. So we got to check to see if there's a recolor texture. And uniforms need to be set on the shader. Set mask. Resolve over the current texture. Yeah, this might resolve to nothing. Transparent mask. But something's off by, like, a frame that's happening here. Everything tries to reset you, but it can't. Yeah. Well, one of the things I could do is let you change colors while you're in a game. So if you think that they clash, you could always just change it. I don't really mind one way or another. Okay, so let's see this again. It's fine at first. It's when you do this quickly enough that it's not fine anymore. I gotta find out what's happening exactly. Animation change is probably what's doing it. Then maybe this is what's wrong. I'm gonna turn this off for a sec. I want to just mess around for a bit and see what's going on. Oops. It's supposed to go here. Hey, Vibe Buff. The whole point is for there to be bugs. There are still, like, I know there's a kappa in the message, but there are still some bugs that we definitely have to fix. And this is one of them. No, this is still happening. Okay, so the texture has changed. I don't know if this is caused by the animation tree that we have. There's always tasteful bugs. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so let's print this out. Current texture. I want to see if this is producing some weird intermediate value. This should get called every time I... Oh. Let's go into that game by default. Flow control flags. Free play. Farming game. Okay. Yeah, every time I change animations, I think it's going to get called. And it should return a recolor texture or the transparent mask. Oh, that's not printing out at all. Oh, because it's technically a recolorable sprite. And we just happen to change. Oh, man. Frame changed. Yeah, I see. But we defer this by a frame. I think that's our problem. What if we just call refresh recoloring immediately? The problem go away. It might cause another problem now. The problem definitely does not go away. It's only when you... No, it's not only when you... There's like a certain amount of time you wait and then this thing happens. Or maybe it's... Yeah, I don't know what's causing this. No, this is the regular dev cycle for everybody. And they've been set up to be colorized? No, no. So maybe it'll just automatically fix itself. In fact, I could have tested that, I guess. Yeah, maybe this is going to be a non-issue once we've done this. We could just act like it was done already. So I just go into the farming character. And we go find the digging spray here. And we click this. It's not going to take place on the fly. I got to restart this. But yeah, that might be enough to fix it. So let's see if it still happens. It's definitely still happening. Is there something else I need to do here? It added the shovel recolor mask. We don't have any other graphics, do we? It's just idle and shovel for this. And if I open up that mask... Oh, I could do it this way. Yeah, I just draw in some red here. Where's this? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so just draw some red. What am I doing? All right, let's just type it in. There. Okay, so that's pink. What's happened? Oh, there it goes. Okay, so we're just gonna do something like that. And this is when they're digging downward. So let's save this. Farming. Shovel. Recolor mask. Here we go. So now we should see some actual color when you're digging downward. And red is the hair color. So we'll see the hair. Yeah, there we go. So it's using the mask. So why is this happening? I think the problem is it's using the old mask for the new animation, but it's only some of the time. Using the old mask for the new animation. But then wouldn't we go from shoveling to idle and see the wrong hair? It wouldn't be obvious because of how I colored that. And why is this a problem here but not in the platformer game? Maybe it is a problem in the platformer. I didn't see it. I think I would have seen it. We'd see the wrong colors getting used. Yeah, I don't know. All right, well, I should go get food. So how about this? Let's just ask AI briefly about this, and I'll just go get my food. Oops. So we have the image. All right, so sometimes in the farming game, if I dig quickly enough, I end up seeing a sprite colored using the wrong mask. Oh, that didn't work. What is causing this? Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Because like I said, I want to get food. Hey, Rylan. Head hurts. You made a brain teaser wrapped in a difficult logic problem. This in particular, this is a little bit tough because we have an animation tree controlling an animation player, and then it changes the frame of a sprite. And then that triggers loading in a new uniform for our shader. So I think this is just off by a frame, and I don't know how we fix that. But yeah, I'm gonna go get food for now. Yeah, I hope you enjoy your Taiwanese food, Sarah. We'll take a look at this when I get back. What time is it? 11:40. Yeah, all right. I'll be back by probably about 1, and I'll stream for another few hours. We'll work on some stuff. Maybe we'll work on the loot boxes game in the afternoon too. But thank you all for being here. Thanks for watching. If you want to join Discord, there's a link. And I hope you enjoyed. I will see you after lunch.